How do? How do? Go on, nut job. How we doing, guys? Back in Outwood Park. Let's just extend the old. Looking scruffy, guys. Scruffy t-shirt, scruffy hat on, being at garage, messing about with my motorbike. And yeah, not shaved. There we go. So, we've heard this before, we've all heard this. The only thing necessary for evil to thrive is for good men to do nothing. Had a few messages lately from, well, actually, not just prison officers. Speaking to a copper who has found himself in not the best situation, and also someone from probation. Believe they were helping someone and that person has ended up back in prison. You know, what would you do? What do? I can't tell you, guys. I can tell you about prison. I can tell you about sticking your head above the parapet. You know, reporting wrongdoing. First thing you've got to understand, the moment you do that, yeah, you're in people's bad books. Good people might feel uncomfortable because you involve them. Lots of people believe, and I'm sure that's with other things, you know, what happens in prison stays in prison, etc., etc. So the most vile and disgusting act. It's very difficult, guys. Whistleblowing was brought out for a reason, legislation. I know people now who come under that legislation and it's not doing anything for them. God, I do look a bit of a, don't I? But you know, it is what it is. So here we go. In prison, we have an IEP system, incentive and earned privileges. A lot of people do not understand this. In modern times, right, when you're going to prison, you are on standard regime. Below that is basic regime, and above it is enhanced. So as a prisoner coming into prison, you are on standard regime. You get a TV, you might get some other privileges, a bit of gym, time out of cell, etc. If you misbehave, you should be told you've misbehaved. That didn't used to happen in a lot of cases. That used to cause problems. Not once did I ever give someone a warning without letting them know. And it was very rarely. It'd have to be something bad. You know, if somebody threatens to have you shot outside the prison gates, then you might be getting a warning. Most things I would let go. You'd sort it out with someone, do away with a bad feeling. So, you misbehave, continually get negative write-ups, negative comments, warnings. You get put on basic regime. It is basic. If you are a sentenced prisoner, you'll be put in a prison tracksuit, corned beef tracksuit. TV will be taken away, amongst other things. Limited time out of cell. Nowadays, everyone's limited time out of cell. Everyone's pretty much on basic, but they might have the TVs. Anyway, enhanced. 3 months warning free. You can apply for enhanced. This is the one that gets everyone going. You could have a PlayStation and you'll get other privileges. You will get extra visits. Imagine that. An extra 2 hours a month with your family. To a lot of people, that's massive. And that's worth behaving for in prison, amongst other things. So we had a senior officer. Senior officer is a wing manager in uniform, next up from a prison officer. So on a wing in any prison, you would have a senior officer when you opened up in the morning. The senior officer we got was a bad bully. Yeah, he wasn't liked. That doesn't matter. Yeah, the fact he wasn't liked doesn't matter. If I bang heads with him, yeah, I'm the bad person. Remember that. So we had a prisoner who was enhanced. Got his PlayStation. Behaved. I knew him very well, this prisoner. Likeable lad, very polite. I weren't on shift. This was recounted to me, this incident, by half a dozen people. Two of them people together confronted the senior officer. So what happened? This lad had been stitched up, yeah? He'd received warnings. He'd not been told he'd had any warnings. The warnings were dubious. The person who gave him the warnings was a girlfriend of the senior officer. You see where this is going? Although they denied it venomously. So the senior officer goes to his cell. You're going on basic regime. One point there. If you're enhanced, you should get dropped to standard regime. Yeah? And then if your bad behaviour continues, you will be put on basic. So this lad, who has no idea he's had any warnings, is going from enhanced to basic. He refused. Told the senior officer to go away politely. He'd never had any warnings. And he wasn't moving because he'd been told to pack his kit and move from the 3's landing where he lived down to the 2's landing where the basic regime prisoners were kept. So what did the senior officer do? The most vile and disgusting act. Ask any prison officer I work with, yeah? Standard question. Someone spit in your face or be punched. Not one, lads or lasses, ever said anything other than be punched. Yeah, spitting in someone's face is disgusting. So the senior officer has confronted this lad. The senior officer is hiked up and he spat in the prisoner's face. Yep. Vile and disgusting. This is a manager, a leader of men. The prisoner spat back in his face. The prisoner was then dropped, ended up on the floor. The manager, both hands on the top bunk. The prisoner was on the floor, jumping up and down on his legs. Staff dragged him off the prisoner. The prisoner was restrained and taken to the segregation unit. There were some young in-service staff there who saw that. They recounted this to me, horrified. Two senior members of the staff, you know, long serving, been in the job a long time, got him in the office and told him in no uncertain terms if he did anything like that again, they would go straight to the #1 governor. People will be saying now, why didn't they make it official? Yeah? It's very difficult. I've been the other side. Yeah? I've reported. This guy I'm talking about, spat in the prisoner's face, I would later, because his bullying continued along with his girlfriend, I would later report him. It would go to investigation, and for 6 months, people in Strangeways, other than staff who worked with me on my wing, K-wing, who knew what it were like, no one spoke to me. I would do overtime, I would walk on a wing and people would turn their backs and say nothing. Or if I walked on a wing and there was a briefing in the office, people would just pretend I wasn't there. One senior officer from down south, lots of friends down south, yeah, told me when I walked on his wing to do overtime that if there were any incidents, I shouldn't get involved because his staff wouldn't support me. I told him to go fuck himself. I walked off his wing, I went to the Oscar one, who was the shift manager, told him I was going back to my place of work, and I refused to work with him. They said nothing. This guy weren't liked. I was the scumbag. Shortly before the investigation started, people I work with, lads I work with, you know, started putting people right. There was a senior officer on the Cat A wing pulled one of my mates. Who's this scumbag Samworth? Whoa, let me put you straight. Told him the story. Well, I didn't know that. He says, exactly. One or two did that. So things sort of turned the corner a little bit. But management, even managers I got on with, saw me as a thorn in the side. I caused a problem. I caused an investigation. The union man, who was to represent me in the investigation when I went in, said to me, I've read your statement. I went, yeah. Do you realise you could have got this guy the sack? I says, really? I says, do you realise he could have got himself the sack by his behaviour and actions and assaulting people? I then told the union man to go fuck himself. I didn't want him in my, or representing me in the investigation. A governor, again, pulled me and says, you've caused problems. I said, what do you mean, Gov? Yeah, straight away, serious, toe to toe. What do you mean, Gov? Oh, nothing, started walking away. I followed him. Governor, what are you saying? No percentage taking me on. I was in the right. The fact that people were ignoring me, the fact that people saw it had caused a problem, the fact that a lot of people saw me as a grass, that's how it goes, guys. It's a vile and disgusting act, that. And for a wing manager, well, anyone to do it is disgusting. So you guys who've asked me, what do you do when you see something inappropriate? You've got to decide yourself. For me, you know, I've heard prisoners say, all the screws, officers who see bad things and don't report it as bad as the people doing it. It's very difficult. I've been there. How many prisoners do you think have seen bullying? I know lads who've said they've regretted things that's happened to other prisoners when they could have done something and they didn't. It's a difficult position to be in. So I can't tell you what to do. What I will say, if you decide to challenge someone, make sure you've got a reliable witness. Yeah? If you're going to pull a senior officer or another officer because you think their conduct is out of order, get someone you trust as a witness. Can I just borrow you a minute and confront them? If they want to escalate it, you go to a senior manager, but it's difficult. I can't tell you what to do. I'm going to leave it there, guys. Hopefully I've got an interview this weekend for Sunday. I'm hoping to put regular content out Tuesdays. I don't know what I said then. Content out Tuesdays and Thursdays, 6 p.m. Vlogs. Longer content Fridays and Sundays. I am thinking of reading my first book, 20-25 minutes, putting them on a playlist. You know, it'll tell you a lot about me. A lot of people, this is what they tell me, find my voice very soothing. Earphones on, listen to me when going to sleep. So yeah, 20-25 minutes, once a week, till I've read my first book, put them on a playlist. So if you haven't read the first book, you can listen to it. Quite a lot of people I know can't read. Our last struggles, bad with dyslexia. So let me know what you think. If you'd like me to do that, give us a nudge. Parting shot as always. You found another ball, haven't you, kid? Eh? I know. Thanks for coming, guys. I'll see you.